Hi guys, welcome to the second episode of WP Bros Academy. In this video we're going to be looking at the Gutenberg editor and showing you around and just looking at it in a bit more detail. So we've got a blank WordPress install set up on our local host at the moment. We've got nothing installed, no themes, no plugins, just using the default 2021 theme. So we're going to head over now to the pages section and create a new page, and then we'll have a little look around. So we'll just give this page a title quickly, just call it test, and let's begin. So let's start off with the side panel to the right hand side, and we'll have a look at what's going on there. So Phil, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, sure. So obviously on the sidebar, you've got the classic settings that would have been in the classic editor previously under the page tab. So that's where you'll see all of the standard settings like your URL slug, your permalink, which previously would have been at the top of the page. You've got things like your featured image. If you're on like a blog post, this is where you would also add your categories or taxonomies to a custom post type. And obviously page attributes and discussion. So all of your standard page settings that used to be familiar to you in the classic editor are tucked away now under this page tab. And then on the block tab next to that, this is now where you get all of your block specific settings. And this changes depending on which block you're actually focusing on the main editor over on the left-hand side, basically.
Yeah, that's a good point. So if we did add another block, we can use the plus symbol to add a new block. Let's add an image block. You'll see that we get our nice new image block, and now that panel has changed to the image. So I think the paragraph text has disappeared now, so I need to do that again. So now we've got two blocks. Click on text, click on image. Get the idea.
Yeah. So it's quite a nice way. Like obviously when you're just switching between your blocks, and from an editing point of view, I think when you're building out your page layouts, it's really nice that you know that whatever block you're actively on at the moment, the settings are instantly there and ready for you to kind of change and update the styles. So that's really nice, I think.
Definitely. So then moving on from this sidebar panel, there's the option to actually just close it. First of all, we can get rid of that, and then to get it back, you click on that cog symbol, you get your settings sidebar back. Also next to that cog, you've got these three little dots, which opens up another menu with some extra options, which can be quite useful. For example, going into full screen mode can be quite nice. And of course, we're currently at the looking at the visual editor, and like the previous classic editor where you could switch between the visual view and the text editor view, you can do that now with Gutenberg too. So now we can see how that works in code form, and then just flip back to visual. And then we've also got some other tools settings, so we can copy all the content, which can be quite useful when you're trying to migrate something from one page to another. You can manage reusable blocks, and there's keyboard shortcuts and all that cool stuff there.
Yeah. I always get confused with that though, with the three dots, because it overlays the other menu. Can be a bit confusing. The only way to close it that I've found as well is to click on those three dots again at the top. So if you're trying to find your way back to the
yeah, they might have updated it since, because I think now you can actually click off and it closes.
Oh, does it? Oh,
yeah,
there you
so
go.
Maybe there's an improvement in 5.8.2.
Cool.
Okay, so I think that's probably it for the sidebar. And then over to the left hand side in the top left corner, you've got this blue plus symbol, and inside that there's a few nice things in here. So first of all, you can search for particular blocks that you want to add to your page. So now we're currently on the blocks tab, and then we've also got patterns tab, and we'll come back to patterns in a bit. But on that blocks tab, we've got quite a good selection of default Gutenberg blocks that come out of the box. So we've got paragraph, heading, list, quote, and all sorts of nice things we can use to create really versatile layouts, and they're completely drag and drop, and all of the settings are available on that sidebar when you drag them in, or just click on them, I think.
Yeah.
So we won't go through all of these blocks with you, and you can go away and have a play and see which ones work for you. Anything to add to that, Phil?
No, I think that's it really. I mean, obviously you've got the nice categorization of the blocks on that left-hand sidebar as well, which can be super handy, and we're going to explore that in a bit more depth when we come to developing our own custom blocks. From a development point of view, it's really nice to be able to categorize your blocks, especially if you're developing some sort of block plugin with multiple block options, kind of grouping them all together within your custom category. Just help users navigate their way around. That can be a really nice added effect as well.
Yeah, it's really nice to split them out like that. And I think you can also hide these if you don't want certain blocks to display. If you've got a custom block that you want to override a default block, you can choose which things display, which is quite a nice feature.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And then we've got patterns. So Phil, do you want to explain what patterns are? It's quite a tough one to explain.
Yeah. So patterns are a new concept within Gutenberg, and a lot of people have been getting very excited about patterns as the future of WordPress themes and the Gutenberg editor, because essentially what they are is a collection of individual blocks grouped together to create a user interface, a component, a specific layout. So, for instance, you might have a classic card layout where you use the image block and a paragraph block or something like that. And you can save these patterns. So, as a developer, again, if you're building out client websites and you've got several repeating patterns across the website on various different pages, you can actually save these patterns so that when you come to handing over the website to your client, rather than them trying to hack it together from scratch, some of these components that they may want to use in other places, they can now come over to the pattern library in the sidebar there, and they can basically just grab any number of pre-configured, pre-made patterns that you've built for them, basically. So that's great because you can give your client full freedom when it comes to building out their page layouts and content, whilst also keeping them within the realms of your design patterns and your design systems that you've put in place to make the website look fantastic in the first place. So yeah, I think they're really, really powerful. I know that WordPress have built a repository for patterns already, and developers, anyone can submit patterns that they've made using any of the available themes at the moment that can do that. So it's a really exciting space. I think we're going to see some really interesting designs coming out of it, and the possibilities are really endless, I think.
Yeah, it's really exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think patterns
I mean, there's
sometimes
all sorts.
get forgotten a little bit because they're kind of hidden away in that tab, but yeah, they're super powerful. So make use of them, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I think they're great.
So now closing off that panel to the side, there's also some other options in that top toolbar. So you've got this tools section where you can change from edit mode and select mode. I'm not actually sure what that does. I haven't played around with that. Do you know what that does, Phil?
I've not really been using it too much. I'm guessing it's just to do with, yeah, whether you're selected or editing a block.
Not quite sure of the use of that, but it's there anyway. If you know, put it in the comments. You've got your forwards and backwards kind of things, so you can go back and forwards from between your changes if you made a mistake or whatnot. You've got this information panel which just gives you a glance of what's going on that page, and you've also got this list view which can be quite useful. So instead of seeing how your page is structured in the editor, you can see how it's structured in this nice little list view, which can be quite useful once your page starts getting bigger and bigger and you've got blocks within blocks and you don't understand where you are. If you want to see it in that way, you can, and you can click into each thing and it will show you on the editor exactly what thing is selected. So that's super powerful and super useful.
Yeah. I hear as well that I'm not sure if it's actually out yet, but I think it's in the plans to make that drag and drop from that overview in the sidebar as well. So rather than reordering your blocks on the editor, I think they're planning on making that drag and drop as well. So from your list view, if you wanted to change the order of anything, you could just drag and drop it and change the order around over there as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that'll be really, really good. Bit of
Yeah.
a pain sometimes when you've got to drag something from like quite a distance between blocks.
Yeah.
But you do have this little, we'll come on to this now actually, because I think we're done with this sidebar.
Yeah.
But you've got the alignment toolbar, I believe it's called.
Yeah.
There's more things in it than alignment, but it's called the alignment toolbar. And within that alignment toolbar, you can toggle or move things up and down rather than dragging with those little arrows. So that's quite useful. But yeah, each block will have a different set of options within the alignment toolbar for that block, and that's something as a developer you can control and put things in there that you want for your block. So this alignment toolbar is extremely powerful. Anything to add to that, Phil?
No, I think you've covered everything there. I think, yeah, as you said, it's a really nice tool to have up your sleeve when you're developing custom blocks, because you can be creative and be innovative with the kind of settings that you offer to users up in that toolbar, and kind of bringing settings out from the settings sidebar, just to kind of free up some space. And
Yeah, because it can get really busy in your sidebar when you've got quite a
yeah,
complex block. So trying to pull out as much as you can into that alignment toolbar without making it too overwhelming. I guess it's a challenge, but that's what it's all about, deciding
yeah,
what should go where. So yeah, lots of interesting components to the Gutenberg editor. But now we've broken it down. Hopefully, if you weren't too familiar with it, now you feel a little bit more comfortable with it. Now you understand what things you can customize and take control of as a developer. We can head on to episode 3, where we're going to dive into the code and start looking at how you create your first ever custom block. So super excited to get stuck into that.
yeah. Me too. I'm looking forward to getting into the code now.
Cool. Well, as always, remember to like and subscribe because the content's only going to get better and better. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
See you next time.